All right, good morning. This is our first lesson. I'm going to do the best I can. We're going to be kind of doing a rough version of it today. I'm working on how to do this a little better. So our first notes that you're going to take today, and this will be in your Schoology as well. So you need to fill out the definition of a pronoun. A pronoun is a word that takes the place of one or more nouns. You should know that by now. What I'm finding in what I've seen, and after doing a lot of research with the SAT questions, is that there are several that are referring to pronoun antecedent agreement. So the antecedent is the word a pronoun refers to. The other thing I've noticed is that a lot of you don't really know all the different pronouns that there are. So hopefully you got your definitions, and if not, you can kind of pause your video until you get them. So what I did is in this file, you're going to find a lot of pronouns listed. So let's go through those, okay? The first one are personal pronouns. These should be easy and you should know them. The first ones are personal pronouns. So you have your subject pronouns, your object pronouns. When the pronoun's the subject of the sentence, you're going to use I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. If they're objects of the pronouns, you're going to use me, you, him, her, it, us, you, them. So basically before the verb, after the verb, if you want to think of it that way. Possessive pronouns. These are the ones that are used before nouns. These are the ones that are used alone, okay? These are all the ones that should be familiar to you. Here's some that are probably not as familiar to you. And these are the indefinite pronouns. Indefinite pronouns refer to something non-specific. So this list, and this is one that you really do need to know, because this will also come up when we talk about subject-verb agreement. Always singular. These pronouns are always singular every time you use them, so whatever verb you use should be a singular verb. Another, anybody, anyone, anything, each, either, everybody, everyone, everything, much, neither, nobody, no one, nothing, one, somebody, someone, something. And again, I'm going through these quickly because you have them in your Schoology. These are always plural. So you've got both, few, many, others, several. Then these could be singular or plural. They could be either. It depends on your verb. And those would include all, any, most, none, and some. The next ones I know for sure are new, and those are your reflexive and intensive pronouns. So your reflexive and your intensive pronouns, the ones that are singular, are myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. Plural, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. These are all pronouns as well. These two are the ones that you most often miss and don't know. Interrogative pronouns, these are the ones, of course, interrogative questions. Who, whom, which, what, and whose. And your demonstrative pronouns, this, these, that, and those. Okay, so the challenge here is to figure out what word, every time you see a pronoun in a sentence, you have to figure out what word it's referring to. That's its antecedent. Oftentimes in your writing, your antecedent and pronouns are not agreeing, or they're not clear. And that's one of the things that we need to make sure we're fixing. I saw so many of these. I've looked at over 30 SAT practice tests at this point, and I can tell you there are a lot of these questions. So right now, in our practice, I want you to highlight, and this is the sample one, I want you to highlight all your pronouns. So I did the first paragraph. My son starts school today. It is all going to be strange and new to him for a while, and I wish you would treat him gently. It is an adventure that might take him across continents. all adventures that probably include wars, tragedy, and sorrow. To live this life will require faith, love, and courage. So this is actually an excerpt from Abraham Lincoln's letter to the headmaster when he put his son in boarding school and he was sending his son off to school. So the first thing I did is I highlighted, as per the instructions, I highlighted all your pronouns. And then I went through every pronoun and thought about, okay, what is it referring to? What is the antecedent? So my is actually referring to Abe Lincoln himself. That's your possessive. Okay, so that's not even in here. It is going to be a strange or be strange and new to him. So what is it? What is it? School. Okay? So I underline that as per instructions. And new to him, who's him? That would be Abraham Lincoln's son. So that would be the antecedent. Notice sometimes or most times with pronouns, the antecedent is nowhere near the pronoun. So you've got to make sure that that's very clear when you are referring to that. And that's something that we're going to get into later this week with the lesson. I, again, is going to be Abraham Lincoln, which you would treat him. You is the headmaster, who is also not listed in here. Treat him, again, his son, gently. It is an adventure. What is an adventure? School, again, that might take him across continents. That is one of those new pronouns that we just talked about, and that is actually referring to the adventure. Him, again, his son. All adventures, all is one of those indefinite pronouns, and usually your indefinite pronouns are going to go right next to a noun that it is referring to. All adventures that probably, and that is also talking about adventures, probably include wars, tragedy, and sorrow. To live this life, and again, this is referring to life, will require faith, love, and courage. So your challenge now is to take what we just did. Let me erase this. Take what we just did, and you're going to do it with the next one. We're going to try and do this next paragraph together. And yeah, I really did put up a whiteboard in my living room at my house just for you guys. You better appreciate this, okay? Ha ha ha. As I get going, I'm supposed to be learning this week how to be able to record it on Metamoji, so then I don't have to be in the video. I can just show you on the iPad and record it while I'm talking and explaining to you, so I don't have to do all this. Let's hope I can get that figured out, because you know how I am with technology. All right. So, dear teacher, will you please take him by his hand and teach him things he will have to know. Teaching him, but gently, if you can, teach him that for every enemy, almost forgot the that. And I'll be honest, these are really hard. I forget them all the time. That, this, those, these. For every enemy, there is a friend. He will have to know that all men are not just, that all men, there it is again, see, told you, I forget it all the time too. All men are not true, but teach him also that for every scoundrel there is a hero, that for every crooked politician there is a dedicated leader. So again, you want to go through and be as thorough as you can. If you have to go back and check the list, that's okay. So if we have to scroll back through, if you need to go back through or print off, if you have the capabilities, print off your list of pronouns. Okay? Especially the interrogative and demonstrative here. If you have to do that, it's okay. It's okay to look at that. That's why you want to practice it that way first. Okay? Oops, and I went down too far. Now what we need to talk about is what are the antecedents for these? What are the words that they're referring to? So dear teacher, will you is the teacher, please take him, and again, that's his son. We know that from our first paragraph. Again, by his hand, to teach him, he will have to know teaching him, gently if you can, you is the teacher. Teach him that. What is that? What is that referring to? What are we teaching him? Teaching him that for every enemy, there is a friend. And that is what we're talking about here with that. That is actually referring. Remember, it has to be a noun or a pronoun, or a noun, sorry, one or more nouns that it's referring to. And teach him that for every enemy, there is a friend. Okay? So that, in this situation, is talking about the idea. It's actually talking about a lesson. So this is where this gets a little tough. You have to make sure it's a clear reference. So this is one of those things that we used that, and Lincoln used this in his writing, and it's actually one of those things that's an unclear reference that we're going to learn later how to clear up. He, again, the son, will have to know that, and again, unclear, all men, so all is talking about men, are not just. That, so again, you have an unclear, all men are not true. But teach him, his son, also that, unclear, for every scoundrel there is a hero, unclear. So we have to really be careful with these, and that's why we're really looking at this, is because in your SAT, they're going to give you those unclear references, and they're going to ask you, how could you best fix it? What would be a better way? So make sure you're paying attention to that. So what I want you to do is practice your next ones, your next couple paragraphs that are on here. Do those together. In your comments, here's where you're going to get on Schoology and do your comments for this, and make sure that you are asking questions. If you're not sure, list the pronouns you got, list what the antecedents were, and that's okay. Take a picture of it, put it in the comments. Whatever you want to do the comments in the discussion group is fine, okay? Good luck. My office hours are at 10, 2, and 7. So if you have a question, you can email me or text me. Remember, if you text me, to make sure you tell me who you are, because I won't know. All right? Have a great day, guys. Let me know if you have any problems.